Welcome to Mystics Magazine. I'm here with two-time All-Star Ivory Latta. And Ivory, back in May, you had a doctor's appointment, but it was for something other than what it turned out to be. Walk us through that.
Yeah, you're right. It did. It actually turned out to be one of the biggest scares of my life. I went to the doctor. I usually always get my women's checkup every single year. Sometimes I go 2-3 times a year just to make sure everything is okay. And I went in there and got my women's checkup. And, you know, while you do that, they check your breasts. And so she checked my right breast, and, you know, everything was fine with my right breast. Oh, that's great. And she checked my left breast. And she got to a point where she pressed down so hard, I almost jumped off the table because it hurt me so bad. And I just asked her, I say, what is that? I'm like, it's okay, it's all right, it'll go away. I got hit by a guy at practice. You know, I'm trying to make all the excuses of, like, not thinking of anything bad. And she was like, all right, just let me check it one more time. She did it again. I almost jumped off the table. And she said, well, you know, I just want to be on the safe side. I would like for you to go get, you know, ultrasound done to see, you know, see what's going on. And so that's what happened.
Wow. And what were your initial thoughts when you found out that it could possibly be something very serious like cancer?
Oh, my initial thoughts, man, I just started crying. I mean, I looked at her and she was like, it's okay, it's just precautions. I'm like, it's a lot of times a lot of women go in for precautions and they come out with really bad news. I'm like, I'm too young for this. You know, I was just trying to make up all the excuses, and I was just like, I can't go through this. And then she was like, hey, here's the number you need to call to get an ultrasound. So I waited actually a whole day before I did it because I was just so scared.
And with that, you have to get a biopsy also. So when you got the biopsy, how did that affect you mentally and physically?
Oh my God. People do not understand. Like, it was the worst. Right after, this is the thing, after the ultrasound, I got it done. I actually seen the lady, you know, she had the gel. I actually seen it on the screen. And I said, what is that? That's like a golf ball. I got a basketball in my breast or something. I'm like, I love the game of basketball, but I don't love it that much. And she was like, you know, this is common. I see it all the time. She went in and seen the doctor. And she said, oh, you can get dressed. Everything is fine. I go into the waiting room. And as I'm in the weight room, I'm pacing, I'm texting my mom like, Mom, she said everything is good, you know, we're okay. She comes back in and said, well, the doctor would like to see you one-on-one. So then that's when my nerves just start going bad. And I sat down with the doctor and she showed me what the mass was. And she said, I really need to be on the safe side. You need to get a biopsy done just to make sure it's non-cancerous and everything. So I got that done. But at that time, I went, soon as she told me that, I went straight to my car. I cried and I called my mom like, you have to come up here. This is crazy. So that's when my mom came.
Right. And once you got the biopsy, your mom was here now.
Yes.
How long did you have to wait for the results of that biopsy, and what were your emotions while you were waiting?
I mean, it was, oh man, it's hard to explain. It really is hard to explain. It was overwhelming. I mean, I don't think I've cried so many times in my entire life. Even with my mom there, and you know, my mom was just saying, it's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna. I'm like, Mom, why they haven't called? What is going on? Why is it taking so long? And you know, I was scared. I was like, Mom, so what if I do have breast cancer? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, oh man, it was really bad.
Right, and it's your first time speaking about this experience that happened right at the beginning of this WNBA season. What changed your mind about speaking up about it, and what do you hope comes out of this experience that you've had?
It's like an eye-opening experience. It humbles you a lot, you know, and I wish this on no one. And, you know, I advise every woman out there just to give yourself daily, you know, breast exams and things like that, because you'll never know. And don't think like me, like I did, like, oh, it's okay. You don't know if it's okay or not unless you give yourself the exam. If you feel something, go to the doctors, like, get help. I mean, it was nerve-wracking, and the thing was, I had to, you know, coach was amazing. He was like my father, you know. It was, you know, wasn't even like he was a coach to me. He set the coach hat aside and was like, hey, I'm with you 100%. I'm behind you, whatever happens. You know, I have your back. And his wife, call her Mama Nancy, she was there for me. She was texting me through the whole process, even when I was waiting on my results, just giving me kind words. And Coach, I mean, he really had my back. It was like, my dad was in South Carolina, but I felt like I had my dad here in D.C. with me. It was amazing. It's amazing, yeah.
And your coach from North Carolina,
Yes.
Sylvia Hatchell, just finished her treatment with leukemia back in May. Did you reach out to her? You're on her staff now as an assistant coach, but did you touch bases with her for some kind of encouragement?
And you know what's the crazy thing? I was afraid to tell her. I was really afraid to tell her. And you know what? Still today, I don't think I've told her yet. I don't think I told her. It's just that she is my second mom. And I just felt like she is in the process of getting herself healthy. And I know how she feels about me and vice versa. So I didn't want her to, get upset about anything and, delay her from anything. And so I really haven't told her yet, but I know when I see her this weekend, I'll tell her. She'll be mad at me, but she'll be okay.
Well, while we're speaking of family, last summer, unfortunately, your grandfather, June Randolph Faulkner, passed away, and he had throat cancer.
Yes.
When you think about, while you're waiting for the results of the biopsy, you're thinking about family history. Right. Did that ever come into your mind as something that may be a concern in that regard before you found out the results of the biopsy?
You know what? It did. And it did the day of when I got the biopsy. And, Coach told me, he's like, do not come to practice. Just go straight home. And my mom was there. And I was asleep. And when I woke up, I was like, Mom, man, Granddad passed of this, of cancer. Like, do you think I got it? It was just so much going in my head. That's my mom, Dad. And she was just like, baby, you're going to be fine. And my mom was like, I got lumpy breasts too. I'm like, Mom, this is not about you right now. And I just knew right at the time I didn't understand it. But now when I look at it, she was just trying to encourage me and not really think about it. But it's no telling as a mom what was going through her head. She may have been thinking, oh my God, what if my baby really do have cancer? Mm-hmm. But she didn't never show it. So it was a lot of concerns, man. I try not to show it at practice. Even when I was around the girls, I just try not to show it. But I know when I got in my car and went home, I was just devastated.
And what were the results of the biopsy, and what was your initial reaction to those results?
This is amazing. So I forgot what game it was. It was a home game, and the lady that checked me, the doctor that checked me, she had walked through, and I stared her down from the time she got to the door to when she went in the training room. And Naveen, it was after the game, Naveen called me. He said, hey, the doc would like to see you. And I was scared. Mm-hmm. And I'm shaking like, oh my God. And I was like, no, Naveen, no, I'm not coming in there. He said, no, come in. So I went in there. She told me, she said, it's benign. And she's like, it's non-cancerous. You're going to be fine. But you will definitely need to get it taken out after the season. I guess I'm not sure about the placement or how big it is. But when she told me that, I cried so bad. I just fell in her arms. She probably was like, is this a professional or not? I just cried so bad. I mean, I didn't even give time. I text my mom because, after the game we have media. I text her, and I would just start texting everybody that knew. And I'm like, oh, my God, thank you so much. But then almost 2 weeks later, I get a call back from the hospital, and one of the girls said, hey, we need you to come in so you get your test results. And I'm like, I've already have my results. I said, are you talking to me? I was like, my name is Ivory Latta. She's like, yes, and you play for the Washington Mystics. I said, yes, I have my results. I don't need any more. I'm good. And come to find, I was just struck dead, and come to find out they had a miscommunication and everything is benign. I was good. I'm good to go.
No, that's great news. It's great news. But you're a fit athlete. You're healthy. You're in your late 20s.
Right.
Was that something that was a surprise for you? Because when you hear about breast cancer, you think it's always about women that are a little bit older.
Right.
They're talking about early detection. But what can you say for women of any age right now after this experience?
I can say get your yearly checkup. Even if you have to go 1, 2, 3 times a year, just get the checkup. It's very important. And the thing is, cancer has no age. I've learned that it has no age. It can hit you at, whether you're born with it or if you get older. And I just advise everyone, do your own checkup. If you're in the shower or you just laying at home, it's nothing bad. Just touch your breast and make sure there's no lumps, because you don't ever want to go through a scare like this. I mean, it's nerve-wracking, and You know, like I said, I wasn't eating, I wasn't drinking, I wasn't doing anything. I really wasn't myself, because it's an eye-opening experience.
Mm-hmm. And how has this experience changed the way you think, not just about what happened with you physically, but how has it changed the way you think overall, in general, about life, about your opportunity to play in the WNBA and to be an assistant coach at North Carolina?
And my mom always told me, don't take anything for granted. This situation is really opened my eyes. Like, I would never take anything for granted. I love the game of basketball. It has taken me places I would never thought I would ever go. And just the thought of me not playing anymore and, you know, being a role model for the kids out there, it was very hurtful. But at the same time, I was also thinking, how would my family feel? You know, in a situation like this, we've already been through with my grandfather. And also with my uncle, 3 or 4 years before that, my mom's brother also died of cancer as well. So, you know, it was a lot going through my mind. But I know one thing, I would never take anything for granted. Continue to smile and enjoy my life, and just enjoy my life, enjoy family, and enjoy the game of basketball.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks.